How's it going, guys? Peep is Darth Jar Jar here. And as we speak, I can't believe I'm saying this. In the big 2025, Battlefront 2 actually broke its all-time peak on Steam charts. For those that don't know, the all-time peak of Battlefront 2 on Steam was a little over 10,000. I think it was 10,200 something. The Battlefront 2 revival is real, bro. In the last week, the player base literally 12 times. You get what I'm trying to say. This is crazy. There has been so much movement in the Battlefront 2 scene to the point where we're actually getting Battlefront 2 devs who worked for EA finally putting their word into this. And hold on to your seats to this one, because I think Battlefront 3 might actually be possible. So let's get into this. But before we do that, I am actually trying to gain my first subscriber today. So if you don't mind subscribing real quick, and if I gain at least one subscriber today, then I will professionally review Red 40. You know what, at this point, I genuinely want to try Red 40. Let me see what all the hype is about here. Be sure to subscribe to their channel anyways. Now, my last video on this, I don't think you guys really need a recap. Long story short, Battlefront 2 is revived. Everyone is hopping on this game. As a matter of fact, an EA insider claims that in the last 24 hours, there are 170,000 concurrent players simultaneously playing Battlefront 2. This game is so back, it's crazy. And this is later confirmed by the Battlefront devs themselves. We'll come back to that though. Let's actually talk about why I'm making this video in the first place. Because this Battlefront 2 revival has started a new movement of when will we be getting our next Battlefront game? I think it is about time we get a Battlefront 3. We've waited long enough. We've gone 8 years without a new Battlefront game, and we've gone 5 years without an update to a Battlefront game. Which brings us to this Reddit thread, which widespread through the Star Wars community. And it's a pretty simple discussion. If Battlefront 3 ever gets made, what kind of monetization would be acceptable to support the game, stay balanced, and avoid backlash? In case I gotta remind anyone, or if there's anyone who's new to the Star Wars community and has no clue what this is talking about, I'll sum it up real quick. Battlefront 2 had a horrendous start. EA being EA, the game was absolutely littered with microtransactions and DLCs. You were basically buying a $60 game just to barely be able to experience it. As a matter of fact, EA's response to defending this system was so bad to the point where to this day, EA's response defending the microtransactions is the most downvoted piece of media on Reddit ever in history to this day, and the record's never been beaten. Like, you are never recovering from this. The backlash was so horrendous to the point where they eventually removed all the microtransactions, and you can actually play the game and experience everything without having to shill out a single penny. But goddamn, it was horrendous back then. Anyways, there's your recap. But now this begs the question, what kind of monetization would be acceptable? Should Battlefront 3 just take a freemium route like Fortnite and just make the core game free, but you have to pay for everything else? In my honest opinion, if Battlefront 3 takes a battle pass freemium route, I am not playing it, bro. I'm sorry, I'm sticking to Battlefront 2. If I see one more game that's freemium battle passes and you have to pay for like $30 skins, like I am just leaving the gaming scene, bro. I'm just gonna go back to hiking or doing whatever people who go outside do, because I swear to God, this got so repetitive so quickly, bro. Anyways, there was a lot of discussions under this discussion form. There was one that really stood out, mainly because it actually came from a Battlefront 2 dev himself. And he said, knowing the cost of running a Battlefront as a live game and how much a skin actually costs to make, all of these popular ideas here are not workable. Because a lot of people were throwing around ideas like, oh, Star Wars should take a Helldivers 2 route, an Apex Legends route, a Fortnite route, etc., etc. Also, the whole system of how to play something is problematic, so paying for a set skin, then playing lots of games where you don't use it, very difficult. And that's definitely a good point, right? Let's say Battlefront 3 does take a Fortnite route, and they charge like $30 for a Captain Rex skin for your clones. Nothing would be more irritating than only getting into Rebellion lobbies. Like, I would probably lose my shit. If Battlefront 3 was to try these different options, it would have to be a very different game, focus on smaller modes. My personal take is proper DLC packs with characters, so a map, a character, 3 to 4 skin variations, music, and a handful of customizations. But you would need a game where this even made sense. Which is definitely an interesting concept to think about. Trying to make a Battlefront 3 in this modern era of video games just would be very confusing and just have an identity crisis, which is exactly why we don't change how the game works. Let's go. Battlefront 3 should honestly just take a Garden Warfare 2 route and just, take the base game and just expand onto it, make it like 3 times larger than it originally was. Keep the core game, obviously, but just make it 20 times better. Like I said, we don't need another freemium game littered with battle passes. Like, I feel like if Battlefront 3 took this kind of route, then it would be insanely refreshing for the gaming scene, but it is EA though, so keep your standards low. Anyways, ever since this post, Matt Shelge, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, he spent the last couple days just being very active on the Battlefront subreddit, constantly responding to everyone, constantly responding to questions, myths, comments, concerns about Battlefront 2's revival and possibly a Battlefront 3. Now, while a lot of it was just, him talking about working on Battlefront 2, which is obviously still pretty interesting to talk about, there are a lot of comments that he made that stood out a bit. When responding to this meme right here, we need a Battlefront 3, and then it's just, the Buzz Lightyear meme. Someone said, do the people that made Battlefront 2 what it is even work for DICE anymore? Which to then Matt Shelge replied, most of us don't. Even though most of the OGs have gone now, I'm sure that DICE would still put off an amazing Battlefront 3 with the team that they have, right? Matt later responds, I am skeptical the live team ended up approaching the game very differently than the original devs. If they went about it the same way as before, they will not get how we brought the game back from the abyss. So if their goal was, let's learn everything from their old work, perhaps. If they are new game, Battlefield, but Star Wars outfits, it won't turn out well. That's honestly a valid point because, it is EA at the end of the day. Keep your expectations very low because EA is EA at the end of the day. He talks a little more about where the original Bf2 dev team is right now and how they've just gone on with their lives. They work at many different game studios now, including Mojang, which is pretty interesting to think about. If you want to read all of this, you can. But most importantly, when responding to this meme right here, a meme from the Andor show, Star Wars Battlefront 2 devs saying they'd return. What Battlefront 2 devs said they'd come back? Me. And having heard around my group of ex-colleagues, we want to get the gang back together. So on top of the fact that he's trying to get the Battlefront 2 dev team back together, there's just been a lot of back and forthing with fans of the Battlefront games, which eventually led to probably the closest piece of information about Battlefront 3 being not confirmed but heavily implied that we might get it in the future. Now that being said, Battlefront 3, if they are to start right now, we are literally looking at a new game many years from now. Battlefront game cannot be made in a week, a month. So honestly, keep your expectations low for a very long time. However, Matt Shelge did say this. Hear me out. No Battlefront 3 game right now, but Battlefront 2 remaster for whatever future consoles arriving in 2027, 2028. Kind of interesting to think about because Battlefront 2 has really good graphics. Like the graphics aged very well, honestly. You could totally play this game off as something that came out last year or something. For a game from 2018, this still looks really good. So I'm kind of surprised they're planning on remastering this game. But honestly, we'll have to see. Dev time is around 2 to 3 years. There's a laundry list of improvements that this game could get, in my opinion, and getting it updated was always on our wish list. Once that is a success, then start work on 3. You have a team similar with engine, assets, and really could kick off developing a 3 within a much shorter time span, and working on feedback from a fresh Battlefront 2 audience base. This would be a 5 to 6 year plan, but it's far more likely to be a success. And there you have it. I know, kind of disappointing. For all we know, I'm going to be a father 5 to 6 years from now. We don't know. So a lot of time is going to pass between now and the next Battlefront 3 game, which kind of sucks. I know, it really does suck. But I guess 5 to 6 years from now, we'll just have to see what happens. It is EA, bro. The video game market is horrendous right now. AAA studios know nothing but how to drop flops while shilling out microtransactions. We're honestly just gonna have to see. Matt does say what the remaster might have in the next year or two. Like crossplay, day and night, and weather on all planets. Oh, this would be sick, bro. This would be actually sick. A 1v1 mode, more game modes per map, meta progression, more community options. List is endless, but we're off the table as we were in live, not production. This was an interesting thing to talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go now, so.